Hello, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 29 of Guild Gab. This is a show where we talk all about Guild Wars 2, focusing on PvE and lore, but since there's been a lot of new developments with Heart of Thorns, we talk about everything Heart of Thorns. Today, we have a very special show, because we not only have a super special guest, MMO Inks is joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Along with, of course, Corvus and Alex are here.
What's going on? Nice
the
to
usual
see ya.
Freaks.
Legs everywhere. Legs and hair everywhere.
Too many
Legs.
legs. Too much hair.
Legs?
Leg.
No,
Starting already.
No.
You gotta tune in a little
You have
longer
to
before.
earn it, guys. You have to earn it.
So today I will give a slight, maybe a spoiler alert. We are going to be talking about some of the stuff that has been data mined, stuff that previously we said that we weren't going to talk about because we didn't want to spoil anything. But there wasn't really a lot new that happened in this past week, so we decided, hey, let's just shove all of the data mine stuff into one episode and talk about that stuff, including the new Balthazar's Regalia and stuff that was released in the gem store yesterday. So, and when I say spoiler alert, none of this stuff is like super ridiculously spoilery, and it is all unconfirmed information. So technically we're not like spoiling anything, but for those who want to be like 100%, you know, unspoiled or whatever, then we'll see you later. Have a good day.
See ya.
But for all the cool people who want to stick around.
The cool dudes like us, man.
Yeah.
First of all, since Inks is new to Guild Gab, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and who you are?
So, you can just call me Inks, not Moinks or...
Mamoo Inks?
Mamoo Inks. That's spacing. Yeah, so I mainly have a YouTube channel. I do a lot of YouTube guides on Guild Wars 2. And I just started dabbling a little bit in like Twitch streaming. Again, mostly Guild Wars 2. So that's kind of what I'm all about. And thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so let's start right out with the stuff that is that came out yesterday in the gem store. We have the Balthazar's Regalia outfit, the mini red panda, and the mini moose.
Yeah.
Anybody buy any of these items yesterday?
Not yet. I will be getting both minis because, like, Matt's addicted to the silly minis. And one of the guilds that I'm in that kills like triple trouble worm. They've had for a very long time, almost a year now, they've had this thing about red pandas. So that's like the official mini of that guild, and
Oh, no way.
one of the officers, Kill Chain, made a joke and said, like, you have to buy this mini if you're in the guild or we're kicking you out or something like that. But
I've just been going
so whether it is or not, we're pretending that this mini is just for our guild.
Yeah.
They made it just for you guys.
Just for us, yeah, of course.
I've been going around singing that song about a moose being loose in the hoose all day. I'm doing this moose loose about this hoose. But yeah, I think I'm probably gonna get the moose, just because I'd like moose or meese are awesome, and there should be more of them. And you could be a Norn wandering around the Wayfarer foothills with your mini moose behind it, saying, "Yes, I'm a moose herder," and yeah. But I think that I think they're quite. I think they're really cool. Like, you're getting some actual real life animals rather than just kind of, you know, here's another kind of spider or you know, a weird enemy that appears in a lot of maps and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think they do look pretty cool. So I can certainly see a few of them popping in and around in the world.
I gotta say, I like the mini red panda, but like I either have like my llama or my mini ram on like all of my characters because they're the cutest. I'm like, it's gotta be really good for me to buy something to replace the llama or the ram.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I mean,
I'm the same. Like, I have like 2 or 3 minis that I just have, like, and I always use, and you know, I'll add all of the others I get to my account and stuff like that, but I'll never touch them. Like, I have my favorites, and it's like an exclusive club, and these minis have to earn that. Though I would say that like I saw the moose and I was like, why the hell would anyone buy this moose? Like it's just a moose, you know, what the hell is the point? And then I saw
Because
Dolphy's video on it and I saw it running and I like burst out laughing and I was like, okay, I can understand that. It's worth it.
But it can't swim underwater. The red panda can.
Yeah.
What minis do you guys have usually as your like go-to minis when you wanna wow people?
Not to wow people. I don't know. I mean, I got the super spider last week, right? So I'm like, he's the coolest dude ever. So I love that guy. But I tend to swap between like some of the holographic ones back from Dragon Bash and stuff like that. And I don't know. I like the Tequatl one just because it's big and it flies around. It's quite
Tequatl
obvious.
is cool, yeah.
So something that Matsta has been talking about for a while is this idea of ArenaNet. Not too long ago, introduced like a random finisher for PvP. So he really wants a random mini, like it picks a random mini, like every time you change maps or something like that. Because he physically picks a random mini each day, depending on which character he's on.
Oh my gosh!
Right.
So
that would be awesome.
Just...
I loved when they put in the randomized finisher. I loved that. A randomized mini would be awesome. Never even thought of that.
I mean, that'd be super cool. I can imagine like some of the super rare ones, like the Monkey King or Adelban, like you can imagine just Big Nose Ted coming along and just with his hammer, like smacking someone on the face and finishing them. Yeah, I'd love that. I think that'd be really, really cool, and you just get a lot more variation in what's going on as well. Because I think there's maybe 4 or 5 that a lot of PvP and World v Worlders use, the ones that look kind of like big and flashy, like the Ascalonian one, or is it the Sanctuary one with the angel wings or something?
That's the one I use. It's the Sanctified one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's the best finisher in the game, dude. Apart from the Super Adventure Box one, which I don't have, but that is the best one.
Llama finisher, llama finisher, and llama mini.
It's okay. I mean, I would kill for well, I wouldn't actually kill, but I would love a llama mini. But the finisher is okay, but it's not. I don't know. I like the Super Adventure Box one so much because it just like explodes instantly, like with all the little blocks. It's such a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, so the Balthazar Regalia outfit. What do we think of that?
Yeah, really nice.
Really like really nice.
We were talking a little bit before the show about how ArenaNet seems to have purposely designed the back area so that the Balthazar back piece fits like perfectly into the armor.
That's so cool.
And it just molds really well. And we have an outfit that looks really good on Char.
I'm so happy to see that.
They've actually like skinned the tail with like the molten stuff, haven't they? Rather than just having it as a kind of an afterthought.
I did see on Reddit though, like like it works really well for Char and Azura, but apparently like the humans have loads of clipping issues or something.
Really?
Yeah, like the shoulders going into their face and all this stuff, and it's I don't know. I guess it's refreshing that like you know,
the Char for once don't have all
finally
those
the
issues.
Char have their day. I'm in two minds about it. Like on the one hand, like the actual armor itself is fantastic. It looks good, you know, really well detailed and it's shiny and it's but it's that orange stuff underneath that I really don't like. It really kind of it does contrast, but I don't think it does it very well. It's too matte. There's not enough detailing, and if you look at something like the Hellfire armor, yeah, you need like 33,000 AP to get the entire set, but when it's got all like the lavary stuff, there's like all the detail on it, like the colors swirl inside it and everything, and it makes it feel like it's like pulsing with magma and that kind of thing. And I would have loved something like that underneath that lava. But like I said, the actual armor bit on top of it is just gorgeous. And you compare it with some of the skins that came out at launch, and you compare it to the stuff that's coming out now, and the level of detail is just, 10, 15 times better than what it was in 2012.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I just wish that...
That's all right, on you go.
I just wish that when these new awesome skins came in, that they would be a reward for playing the game rather than a gems. Is it? It is a set of armor, isn't it? It's not an outfit, or is it?
No, it's
No,
an
it's an outfit. That was another
outfit.
That was another complaint.
Right.
People saying that they wanted it as armor so they could mix and match.
Well, yeah,
which is what I was going to talk about, because like, I don't know, like obviously they had like outfits of the gods back in Guild Wars 1, and I think it kind of works really well as an outfit, because I just think it'd be weird going around with like a Balthazar helmet on or that kind of thing. I think it fits, but I do think it would be cool if it was earnable. Like the Balthazar back piece was a PvP reward, right? And this probably like annoy you guys, but like it'd be so cool to have it as another PvP reward. And so you could like work through and get the outfit, and then work through and get the back piece, and it would be this collective thing. And then like doing different stuff. Because I mean, at Halloween there was the outfit that you could earn in game, and everyone loved it. Like even if you didn't like the outfit, you still worked towards it because it was like finally an outfit that we can get in game. And yeah, like I understand like they need stuff to be in the gem store, and they need to keep bringing people back. And obviously people are buying it, which is totally cool, and I'm happy for them. But like I think people around nowadays they do need stuff to work towards, and stuff like that would be super cool as like a final reward to doing a reward track, or I don't know, something else in game.
Yeah.
While we're on the outfit, can we also talk about the mental gold to gems conversion rate at the moment? It's eight. I think someone told me earlier it's about 18 gold for 100 gems.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Like, that's bananas. I mean, it's okay. It's an okay outfit, but that's crackers. 18.
Yeah. They must have sold so many of them. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, they've had a lot of hits recently, right? You've got the Black Feathered Wings, which was like an instant buy for most everybody. You've got this Balthazar skin, another instant buy for a lot of people. Yeah. So they've just been on fire recently with...
which is awesome. It's great, because I mean,
things.
they're gonna be getting more money, which is just, that can only be a good thing for us anyway in the long run. But like, and so yeah, and I mean, cute minis always sell. They've been doing really well with the gem store actually recently.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
every single update there's been something people wanted, and I mean, introducing the Super Adventure Box minis, well, it was like a trolley move. The amount
what
of
do you think
keys
about
I saw
that?
my guildies
We still don't
spend.
have Super Adventure Box. Inks, I want to hear what your opinion is on Super Adventure Box not coming back.
So, it doesn't... I know it's coming back, and I would be okay with them bringing it back anytime now with the old levels, but I have this feeling, and that could still be a good possibility at some point, but I have this feeling that because so many resources are focused on Heart of Thorns right now, you're not going to see a new level. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see it come back. Some people want it as a permanent feature. I think that's a mistake.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I do feel like whether you have a new level or not, whether you have new rewards or not, this is just something that should come out on like a yearly basis, especially with the influx of new players lately.
Yes.
If you guys remember when Super Adventure Box came out the first time, it was this monumental splash for the game that just not only drew new players in, but really held the concurrent players there for a good deal of time. And sure, maybe World 2 wasn't as large a success as World 1, for various reasons, obviously.
Like it was impossible.
Yeah. I think a lot of that had to do with the levels being so much longer. That was a big deterrent for me, anyway.
I think a lot of that would have been also down to how close it came out to the first one. Like, if you know what I mean, like, I think if they had waited a year, it would have been amazing and everyone would have loved it. And I totally think it would be better for them to bring it back, you know, for a few weeks every year, because that it draws people back in, first of all, and just having it permanent, it means it's more likely that people are going to get bored for it. And if they take it away and then they bring it back with new stuff every year or so, you know, it means it's going to come back with more like stuff. But if they just put it in permanently, there's always going to be that feeling of like, well, they don't actually have to add stuff to it.
Well,
you know, like
get tired of it quickly.
Yeah, and I think like
within a
if
month
it's there
or two,
for a
you'll be
limited
burned out.
time. Exactly. It keeps the rewards like prestigious as well, like skins and whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, I'm just looking on Guild Wars 2 Spidey now, and someone told me that here we go. The pistol skin is now 1,100 gold.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's absolutely bananas for some for something that that was essentially
Easy
free
to get.
in game,
Yeah.
just by doing a little bit of work. And I'm actually in the camp that it should be permanent content. Not just for the fact that there was an item in the gem store at the time that you could buy with real money, which was the infinite continue coin that you could use over and over and over again. But I think it was universally talked about as the best content that they put it up into the game, maybe up until either the Marionette fight or the Battle for Lion's Arch, and that was
It was definitely the most hyped content.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think it's that popular. I think eventually, once they finished phasing it in, I think like Ink says, it will come back maybe for a couple of weeks and then go away again. I think eventually, once the entire thing is finished, it will be permanent content, or at least I certainly hope that it'll end up as permanent content.
I think at this point, since we didn't see it for April Fools, and if we don't see it at all this month, which is a perfect time because I'm a broken record when it comes to this, but while we're waiting for Heart of Thorns to come out, it's the perfect content to keep people busy.
100%.
And the
100%.
reason that because they didn't put it out, I have a feeling that they don't want to put it out unless they have a new level. So every time it comes out, they want to have a new level. Because if they don't, there's no reason not to release it right now.
Well, that's
and
it.
Nobody would care if there wasn't a new level.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it kind of goes against their thing, right? Just in general, it's a living world, right? There's things changing and things evolving. And I mean, Halloween last year, everyone was annoyed that, it was basically the same thing, but they at least revamped the rewards a little bit. And I can bet that they weren't exactly happy about doing that either. I think it kind of goes against their views to release something that's just the same as it was before, or that hasn't got something new to do with it.
I can see that because there's a story. It's not just there's a story with Super Adventure Box with Moto, and he has a backstory, and he shuts it down because he's working on it. So if he suddenly, after a year and a half, reopened it and there's nothing new, maybe they think, I mean, nobody would care, but the players wouldn't care. But from a story perspective, it wouldn't make much sense if nothing changed.
But how will the little Azura children learn how to do things? 'Cause that's what it is, though, isn't it? It's like the little school for Azurans
supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you got to get into their private school. Maybe there are Asura using it, but
maybe that's it. Yeah, we're not.
Us Sylvari and humans and Char aren't allowed in. We're not baby Asura.
We are the 99% who aren't allowed in the SAB. Damn it!
All right, let's move on to all the juicy data mining information, or as juicy as it can be. Since we're talking about the Asura and the Super Adventure Box and Rod Assume, there was a Super Adventure bug, as we're calling it. Data mine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Some people are saying, "Oh, it's something new for Super Adventure Box, so that's proof that they're working on it." Maybe it's just I don't know.
I mean, it looks like it fits. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say. I mean, I'd assume now that we're going into beta with the Heart of Thorns expansion pack, that the guys who actually do all the actually build the enemies and do all the model building and all that kind of thing, I would assume that they're mostly done with their expansion content, like the level designers and the monster builders and everything. So
good point.
I guess they might have some time on their hands, and someone's just gone, right, while Colin's not looking, should we? But
that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I think maybe it was just put in there to be like, look, hey guys, we are actually doing stuff. You're not getting it this year for April Fools, but we are working on it. Just to kind of ease people. I know there was also a few kind of bleepy bloopy sounds that were data mined as well not long ago, kind of new SAB 8-bit kind of noises.
Right.
And yeah, maybe the minis weren't there to just be a joke. It was maybe just to be it's coming, kind of like a little pat on the back, just stick with us, okay? It's on its way.
Peace offering.
Yeah.
But with the beta and the stream of news, I don't know if there's really going to be that much time for it. The past month or whatever, 2 or however long, we've been surviving on news essentially, news and gem store updates.
Yeah.
And I mean, it wouldn't be this hasn't been like the kind of dullest quiet patch that we've ever had either. I mean, after season 1 it was like that quite heavily, and it was quite hard for a lot of people. And so I think we could probably keep going like this if the betas are really soon. Even people who don't get into the beta are going to have all this content to see because of all the content creators doing videos and all this stuff. Like, I think they could probably just not give us SAB, you know, till after the expansion.
We could have another World v World tournament.
That'd be fun. I want my hero weapons, dude.
I expect a World v World tournament in this downtime, actually, and I agree. I don't think we're going to see SAB until next year, sadly, sometime. I mean, maybe it could come in by the end of the year, but I highly doubt it. I mean, Heart of Thorns is going to release sometime before the end of the year.
Yeah. Maybe
August, you know, summertime. Would they really release SAB right after an expansion? I highly doubt it. No. So I think we're looking at sometime next year, and the bug doesn't actually look like an enemy. And I've heard other people talk about this too, but in Super Adventure Box you have like that tunnel worm, that shortcut worm,
I thought
and
of that
the eagle,
which
is a shortcut. So this bug, the centipede-looking thing, whatever it is, kind of looks like one of those, like a shortcut bug or something,
like a platform kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Yeah, I agree.
We got some slight. Some map changes. We got a full map of the Verdant Brink map. We got something that was just given to us. Something that was Datamine, though, was like the waypoints and some of the names of the waypoints and the names of the points of interest in that zone. And something odd with just the whole area where in the Maguma Jungle where the new maps are going to be. Radasum was shifted down slightly.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah.
It's been moved, and basically I think like the main idea here is that there's going to be a new zone added above Radasum, and they needed space for it on the map, pretty much, and so they shifted it down, and I don't know, that excited me loads. It
excited me when I heard like Radasum has moved. I was like, what? Oh my god! But if it was just Radasum, I could see it having something to do with the story. But because the land surrounding it also was shifted down, I think it's just a texture map positioning thing. I don't think it's gonna. It's like there's like ignore this. You know, just this is what we had to do. Accept it.
I did love that everyone lost their minds when like, oh my god. They're gonna destroy Radasum!
I just imagine the Wizard's Tower. The Wizard's Tower moved so far. I was like, are they gonna move Radasum? Is Radasum gonna like float off into like a different position?
Well, I mean, that's something else I do want to get into eventually. It is Garenhof, isn't it, or the floating castle, or is it? Oh, it's the village of Garenhof.
The village,
yeah. But yeah, hopefully they've moved it so they can also squeeze in a Polymock arena as well.
Maybe Polymock? Yeah.
I think those Polymock assets, or that area at the very bottom that you can't access anymore, at launch you could, but like that's there, so that's like an empty space that they can work in if we were ever going to get Polymock. The interesting thing about that, I think, is that we've already heard about like adventures and bringing back things like the shooting gallery in Divinity's Reach. These are mini game and the bar brawl. These are mini games that we heard about at launch that never fully developed into whatever they were supposed to be. At PAX South, we heard about them bringing some of those things back. So I don't know how Polymock would work at Guild Wars 2, but I mean, you know, possibility maybe.
Yeah, I think it might. I think it might work. I mean, hopefully it might work something like the costume brawl does at the moment. So you get like instead of maybe directly controlling your piece from the back, you become the piece, and you have your little set of skills there, and you can run around and kind of clonk each other and that kind of thing. So it'd be almost like organized. Maybe they're going like in an organized costume brawl kind of direction about it. Hey, buddy.
I hope not, just because I like turn-based things. So I would hope for it to be a turn-based thing like it was in Guild Wars 1. And I was never good at Polymock. I was terrible at Polymock in Guild Wars 1, so I'm not like excited for the game itself. What I'm excited for, though, is the possibility of earning pieces for Polymock as rewards in the game. And even going back and like maybe you can earn like things from the past, like Super Adventure Box, just like minis. You have Super Adventure Box pieces, you have Llama pieces, you have Zephyrite pieces. You know, there's that kind of potential for a new kind of loot and a new reward is the most exciting part about that for me.
Yeah, it's I think with Heart of Thorns they are taking the opportunity to cram a lot more non-expansion stuff in as well. I mean, obviously we're all getting very excited about Super Adventure Box if it doesn't come back, and the specializations and that kind of thing, and just having another thing to pop on top of everything that's going on is fantastic. Because I think what a lot of people forget is they just go, oh, there's no update, there's nothing to do in the game, and you're just like, dude, you've got the world to explore. Make an alt, for Christ's sake. You've got at least you've got maybe 4 spare character slots at least, if you've done everything. You've got Keg Brawl, you've got Sanctum Sprint, you've got Belcher's Bluff, you've got World v World, you've got Crafting Your Legendary, you've got all of the vanilla stuff that was there in game, with the exception of Sanctum Sprint, obviously. But it's there's this whole game there waiting for people to play, and just going, oh, we've not had an update. You can't justify people saying there's nothing to do in the game. It's like if you're doing your dungeon runs alone, that'll take you 3 or 4 hours to do your daily dungeon rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always stuff to do in the game. There's always stuff. But I think it comes down to kind of this idea of, like, we've been spoiled so much, like, with Guild Wars 2, like, since launch. Just constant streams of updates, like, to the point where a lot of us kind of forget how special it is that we've even had even half of those updates. And so when it gets to points like this, we're all, like, feeling like there's nothing because it's not in the usual Guild Wars 2 swing of giving us
because we've been spoiled.
But being fair, like, there's an entire game there. There's legendaries you can work towards, ascended stuff you could work towards. Like, and it's also one of those games where you kind of make your own fun. Like, run through solo a dungeon or do it with a friend with weird conditions on yourself. Like, just for a laugh. Like, I think it's hard. And I'm the same. Like, I find it difficult sometimes. Like, and I'm like, oh man, I just want new stuff. Like, tell us more about this, or give us this update, and all this kind of stuff. But, like, you jump in game and you kind of just take it from there, and you realize how much there is actually in there, and just go through your achievements. Look at all the things you haven't done yet. Like, that's the best way to it.
And the thing is, no one complained there was nothing to do because nobody has the Yak Slapper title yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's always
Slaughter the yaks.
So like 500,000 of them or something.
Oh, something insane like that.
But just what you
go ahead.
Oh, no, it's all right.
All right, I was going to move on to the possibility of specialization weapons with the Guardian Longbow, the Elementalist Sword, as well as all of the possible new Revenant skills and weapons. So, Guardian Longbow! I'm so excited. That's what I want. Why are you shaking your head, Inks?
I mean, I haven't played my Guardian used to be my main for like 1.5 years almost, and I just haven't played him in a long time. I used to do everything on that character, quite literally, and I guess maybe I'm just old and stubborn. Longbow to me doesn't. I just don't really. I mean, specializations are supposed to change the way you play, so Longbow is definitely going to do that, and I can definitely see it. I can definitely see it being this support, healy type weapon for Guardian, which could be really interesting. I'm just used to, I guess, being at the front line of things and being in the meat of battle, and just to sit with a longbow feels dirty somehow. I don't know. We'll have to wait to see exactly how those skills work, what the traits that work with it are like, and all that kind of stuff. I'm excited that it's going to bring a lot of different gameplay. Longbow just wasn't my first choice of weapons for Guardian. That's all.
What would you have rathered, actually?
It's a good question.
Because like I was really surprised by Necro Greatsword, but like to the point where I was like, actually, I don't know how that's gonna work, and if I would really like, I was excited for it, but questioned it loads because I'm so used to playing Necromancer, and it was just really strange to me. But then I started thinking about like what I would have wanted instead, and I couldn't think of anything that I would have wanted more.
I think one of my choices was Axe, like main hand or maybe Axe.
Oh yeah, okay, that would have been
Guardian.
Good. That would have been cool.
But I mean, like I said before, when you start to think about that, that doesn't necessarily, unless it acts as like a ranger axe, like a ranged weapon, it doesn't necessarily change the way the Guardian class currently plays. And that's the whole idea of specializations, is changing the way the class plays. So longbow totally fits. It makes sense. You have, of course, your spirit longbow, and I think that fits the theme. Where Elementalist has the exact opposite. Any weapon that an Elementalist can summon, it seems like the Elementalist will never get that weapon.
Yeah.
So they can summon a great sword, for example. They're never probably, at least not right now, they're not going to get great sword. And Guardian is like the opposite. They can summon hammer, great sword, shield, and longbow, and so now they're going to get longbow. So that makes sense. Fits with the theme.
Right.
I'd be quite interested to see what they do with it, because right now there are only kind of 2 or 3 builds that people run with Guardian, and none of them are really very supporty. I mean, you've got the condition clears as well. You've got the kind of like the condition clear and the bunkery and the DPS kind of thing. But what I think would be really interesting, if they're looking at moving Ranger to Guardian to a ranged support class, it gets them out of range of the Malik's Revenant. Thing. So if they can Condi clear from a distance or something, they can choose their targets, and that prevents like blanket purging flames and just ruining everybody's day who's attuned to Malik's. Although that is a completely ridiculous reason to give a class an extra weapon. I think you should probably just rebalance
because
the
of
new
another
class.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Inks? The whole like a Guardian and Revenant Malik's not getting along.
Because like clearing conditions is going to be a pain for a lot of people if they're running heavy Condi stuff on Malik's or something like that. Like I don't know, Guardians annoy me the best of times anyway, and like if I'm on my Revenant and they start doing that and screwing up my rotations and stuff, it's not happening, dude.
I mean, I think it depends on your situation. In PvE, I don't really think it changes anything as far as Guardians go there. In World vs. World and structured PvP, I think those builds are going to see. I think all builds are going to see a meta shift, especially if Guardians don't have to be frontliners anymore in World vs. World, for example, which is what they currently really are. If they could become supporters or backliners or mid players, for example. Like within the Zerg, obviously, and become this supporty cleansing class, sort of like an Elementalist in a little bit of ways. I think that would complement each other then. Guardians have a lot of ways to remove conditions. They have a lot of ways to convert your boons and stuff like that, as well as necros. So yeah, it should be really interesting to see how those work together. I have the sneaking suspicion, though, Malik's is not going to be that popular. I hate to say that because that's what we've been shown. We've been shown Malik's and Jalis, and even with the changes to conditions, which are fantastic, I just don't think that Malik's is going to be that popular unless there's fights or situations where it's like, I don't know. It's the other thing about Malik's too is the floor. The skill floor on Malik's is so much higher than it is on like the other legendaries.
When I played the demo, I didn't even bother with Malik's. I switched to it once to kind of like see it, and then I switched back and I just did Jalis the whole time because I was like, I don't know how to play Malik's. I would need to sit down and learn how to play it in order to play it effectively. So,
and if there's going to be any issues with like Condi removal and stuff like that, like the skill, like getting up to the level that you're going to need to with Malik's isn't even going to be that worth it. You know, if it means that in most situations it's going to be like other players are going to accidentally kind of screw your stuff up. It's not, I don't know. And Jalis was super satisfying. I was the same. I switched to Malik's for like 2 seconds, like died, and just went straight back to Jalis. And I think. And obviously there's a few other legends that have been like data mined or whatever. So I don't know, Malik's, I think definitely I agree with you, Inks. I think it's going to be the most unpopular one. I really, really do.
I think we're... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I actually had a lot of fun with Malik's. I spent a lot more time in Malik's than I did with Jalis. Because,
oh, really?
Like, Yeah, Jalis just seemed a little bit easy mode. Partly because partly because it's fairly hard to die when you're playing as Jalis, but Malix was just great. Like I only had like 30 seconds to look over the skills and that, and while Izzy was going, right now you want to touch this and this, I was like, dude, I'm trying to not die here, but it just I really enjoyed it, and obviously it was more hard hitting and that kind of thing, and you got to see a few more examples of some of the new conditions and resistances and that kind of thing. But I think I absolutely do agree with Corvus and Inks that Malix is. I don't think it's going to be a popular one. I think it's going to be one of the others.
I think like I would really like Malix if I had more time to sit around and play with it. Like I love my Necromancer because I don't know, I feel so involved in the combat all the time. Like there's always something I can be doing, and that's why I don't like Minion Masters that much, because it's just like may as well just fall asleep at your desk. But I don't know, like yeah, I think there could be a lot of problems with it. I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait until we can properly sit down. A lot of the reason I played Jalis all the time was just because I didn't have my Naga with me, and you know there was people watching me while I was playing, and I was like, okay. As soon as I died on Malix for like, you know, I was like, okay, just Jalis the whole time. You know, gotta keep my reputation good. You know.
I think that Malix is going to have, like it obviously depending on the group. In like a world versus world Zerg, obviously I don't think he works very well. But as a roamer, for example, or maybe even a small party, I think he's going to be, if you're good at paying attention to everything that's going on with him, and there's a lot going on with that stance, if you can pay attention to all those things and time it correctly and know when to pull conditions and skills from other players, I think in both structured PvP and as like a world versus world roamer, I think he's going to be like a force to be reckoned with for those players who can master like that skill set.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you guys think about the Datamining legends for the Revenant, which are Shiro, Ventari, and Glint?
I think Shiro was fairly predictable, just because he like out of everybody in the Guild Wars lore, he is my favorite, almost my favorite character.
Really?
Certainly my favorite villain. Yeah, I think he's absolutely magnificent, and he's it's to me, and I think this was on the Datamining stuff as well. It looks like Shiro is going to be the dare I say the meta legendary, because it looks like he's going to be fairly full on DPS. So it's already looking like that people are saying, right, Axe Mace Shiro Revenant is going to be the Zerg meta. But seeing as they're working on breaking the Zerg meta anyway, well, that actually remains to be seen. But Shiro as DPS, and I think a lot of people are putting forward Ventari as the support kind of.
Yeah, I think that's very likely.
Yeah. But there's not actually been that much in terms of the skills released. There's just been kind of,
right.
You know, these names kicking around.
Yeah, and people are thinking that Glint is going to be the Revenant specialization legend. Which makes sense. I think that's awesome. I think it's amazing.
That's a thought, yeah. Someone said that Ventari is quite a curious choice. Considering how much the Sylvari have been involved with the personal story, I actually think it's a very wise move bringing him in as well, because obviously Ventari's teachings were very important to you know, to forming the dream and the pale tree and all the rest of it. And he you know, Ventari was a kind of, you know, protect your own, look after one another. So having, you know, you could have a hammer on the, if you had like a hammer Revenant on the back line and you switch between Jalis and Ventari, you're looking at a very, very survivable, very support-based character. So in all likelihood, to kill your party maybe in World v World, people are going to be targeting your Revenant first, and you're going to have to work very hard to keep him alive, because once he goes down, you know, you're looking at a party wipe.
Yeah. And I think it's quite cool actually, because it's going to be so versatile in terms of like build makeup. We might come back to kind of a point where build composition is actually, like, and party composition is going to be quite important, especially for this new content, you know, the challenging content that they're going to be adding. Like I'd love, you know, to have to sit down and plan out what role everyone's going to be, you know, like what legends are you going to pick, like what's your build going to be like. That's going to be super fun. And maybe a party full of Revenants would be viable, you know, each specializing in different things.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, something like Jalis and Ventari being a support character, which I think a lot of people agree he probably will be. I think this makes the Revenant a front line or a mid player in like the World vs. World Zerg.
Yeah.
For sure. It adds an interesting thing to dungeons as well because, you know, we don't exactly know how Taunt's going to work with this challenging content. We are also looking structured PvP, you know, Jalis and Shiro possibly. We're looking at another, like, node camper or, you know, this tanky thing that sits and protects a point, for example. Yeah. So there's a lot of applications there. Shiro's interesting because clearly I think he's the DPS option for the Revenant. What does he pair with, though? Like, does he really pair well with Malix? Like, maybe he does. I don't know. So that should be interesting to see.
Super squishy if you do that, though, I think.
I think in that case, you're looking at more a rogue-type character with Shiro. You're looking at kind of massive spike damage, and if you can switch to Malix, apply, like, massive vulnerability or something, then switch back. And then
do like a huge burst. Yeah. Oh man, that'd be tasty, dude. Yeah. Oh god, I'm so hyped for that stuff.
But it's great that we can all come with all this like very limited information. You know, we're all sitting down, and you know, you were already theory crafting about what it's going to be, and then when we finally get our hands on all these legends, we're going to be like, right, let's do it. We already know what's kind of going to happen, and there has been some suggestions about some of the other some of the other kind of normal weapons as well that the Revenants are going to be I'm
excited for staff just because I love staff, like on all classes.
Right. And I think staff is going to be like one of the go-to melee DPS weapons as well. Yep. That's what it seems like it's shaping up to be anyway.
So I think it's so cool it's going to be melee though, and not like some range stuff. I think that's going to be so fun to use just because it's going to be different. And it's a really good way of them, like, that and the hammer is like, oh, yeah, okay, they've not introduced any new weapons, you know, or new weapon types at least, but, like, the ones the old weapons they're using in a totally different way. And I think that's super cool. Because they could have made hammer, like, close range, and they could have made staff ranged, but, like, it's actually going to make quite a big difference having them not like that. It's going to be a lot more fun to use.
Wasn't there a shot in the trailer that was shown at PAX of Ritlock using a staff to, like, just, like, melee someone?
Yeah, he was beating the enemy with the stick, basically. People thought it was a spear, but yeah.
I think that was just an ArenaNet troll.
Yeah.
Probably.
What was really interesting as well was that they actually showed a Revenant stealth mechanic in that trailer as well with
sword.
Which
Shiro?
Yeah, that's right.
Or would that be a
could
weapon
be Shiro. I think that so we know from data mining that there is a possibility, and I stress possibility because we don't have any confirmations, but there's this possibility of main hand sword for the Revenant. We've seen it in the trailer. We've now seen it in data mined. There's a move that he does where he hits like 3 Mordrum, and it's this like shadow step kind of thing between the 3 of them. And I think that's probably a sword skill, but you know, obviously we don't know just yet.
Right.
But that does keeps the idea of the Revenant or particular builds in the Revenant being that very close frontline thing. So perhaps if you end up playing a very squishy Revenant, you can use the stealth to jump around and. This, like, the more that I read about the Revenant, the more and more it just seems like a lot more thought, not more thought, but it seems a lot more detailed than a lot of the other classes that are in the game at the moment. And obviously, like they said, they like crunched them down from like 27 original classes or something. And so we got a kind of Ranger Warrior and all the rest of them, which do have their own unique quirks, but after a while you get into this very kind of thing, all right, you know, if you want to do X kind of thing, you play a bunker build, or you do a Zerg build, or you put this condition stuff on, or be Celestial, or whatever. But with very limited information about a class, with, you know, I think already we've talked about, you know, maybe a dozen different possibilities of what we could be able to do.
Yeah.
Right, we haven't even mentioned, like, offhand shield, offhand dagger, I think those were like most of the weapons right there. Like, I mean, yeah, Revenant's shaping up to be a really interesting amalgamation of all of these classes that already exist, and then twisting all of those skills in different ways to make it feel like this unique experience. And he does. The class does feel very fun, very fluid to play.
Yeah.
And that's what excites me about Revenant the most, I think.
It's just going to be so versatile. Like, it's such a deep class, and it is taking like these roles that other classes kind of specifically fill, and just throwing them in and being like, oh yeah, you can just swap between them whenever you want, and choose two and go crazy. And I think it's an interesting take on this whole like a new class thing. I have no idea what they would have done apart from this for a new class though. Like I had no ideas of what a new class could be like. And then, so I think this was like the perfect way to do it. And as long as the specializations and the slight class changes bring everyone else up to the same kind of level, I think it's going to be incredible. Totally. It's just incredible, dude. It's going to be amazing. And Necro is going to be even more the best class. And hopefully they nerf Ranger loads. Please nerf Ranger.
No. That's a bad idea.
You can't create one anymore.
We had a question in chat. What do you think? When they finally start talking about the specializations, what do you think they're going to reveal first? Druid, just because they've already talked about it. Yeah.
I think Druid will be first.
Then probably Necro because they've already announced the weapon.
Great sword. Yeah.
And the rest we pretty much know nothing about. And I'm guessing Revenant will be last.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think that's a good. I think that's a pretty good guess. I think my theory goes something like Druid, then Necromancer, then a toss-up between Ellie and Engineer after that. Just because Ellie we've seen the Datamining sword main hand, and Engineer we've seen in the footage, like the trailer footage.
That's true. We saw Hammer.
I would say like Engie, then maybe Mesmer.
Because we did see the shield in the footage as well.
Chronomancer, please! That just it'd be so cool.
There's a couple that there's some rumors that are kind of doing the rounds, like that Thief is going to get the rifle, and no one really know. Like I think the best guess for Warrior is like dual pistols or something. But it doesn't really. They don't really seem like warrior kind of weapons to me.
Yeah, no.
So maybe torch or something. But
I don't know.
See, it's thief and warrior. I have no idea, like what the specialization even could be like what it could feel like to play, and what its kind of mechanics would be. I have no clue at all. Because they're both so kind of basic, not in like a bad way, but just like they've just kind of got their one kind of SAB. Okay, you can be like a tank or you can be all Zerkery and stuff like that as a warrior, but like it's a really simple class, like, and they're not going to change it up drastically in the specialization. It just wouldn't fit. So I have no idea what they're really going to do.
So Thief is interesting. A lot of people are screaming for a rifle. They want rifle. Their main motivation for rifle though is they want a 1200 range weapon. And I understand that. I do get it. I've been kind of championing, can't say the word. I've been going after offhand mace, kind of like as a sap weapon. Like a point-blank AoE stun, for example, or something like that would be incredible on Thief.
Yeah.
Does that change the class up enough is the question, and I don't know that it actually does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the thing. I mean, Thief is... I mean, if they're, like I say, if they're changing up the class enough, like turning the Thief into somewhat of a ranged, almost like sniper class, I guess, would make sense. But if you sit at range with if you sit at range with a Thief and you end up having that excessive damage, there's no trade-off. Like the trade-off with Thieves is that once you get hit, you're essentially done.
Yeah, that's it. Like, can you imagine like a Thief spike? Like from that range with no way to get to them, potentially in stealth, as they're setting up to take the shot. Like, it's crazy. That would be infuriating to fight against in PvP in WoW World.
You're just imagining Kylos like a Thief with a sniper rifle sitting up by the trebuchet and just cracking everyone that walks past.
unless Thief Rifle works kind of like Warrior Longbow, where it has these slows and stuns, or you know, something like that. Maybe the Thief specialization could even get like a taunt mechanic. How OP would that be? That, you know, Thief gets an ability that makes you come to the Thief, which is exactly what the Thief does, right? Come to me so I can stab you in the face. Yeah, I mean, that kind of might sound a little far-fetched, but that would be incredible as well.
That would be interesting because the Thief wouldn't be able to switch back to Thief in combat. They'd have to get out of combat to switch back. Point. So it'd have to be a very tactical lure, that, I think.
Mm-hmm. But it depends how much it'll change the kind of stat makeup of the class, though. Like if it maybe drastically reduces like the damage spikes it can do or something, just as a trade-off for having that extra range and kind of CC stuff. I don't know. Again, like it's so hard to speculate on this stuff, and the Warrior is the same. I don't know. I just kind of put it out of my mind and leave it. I don't play those classes that much, so I can ignore it.
Warrior's pretty interesting. Torch offhand is definitely something, you know, that I think a few people have thought about. It adds more like fire conditions or fire things to him, or maybe some kind of like the Ellie or the Guardian has like a fire breath kind of thing, possibly. And Torch is fairly underutilized, I think, in most classes anyway. So I mean, maybe, but
I think Thief having the rifle suggests that the specialization could be like Assassin, which is something I've thought about. Like, would they bring back the classes from Guild Wars 1? Like, a Thief specialization could be an Assassin, a Revenant specialization could even be like a Ritualist. It would change up the classes a little bit, but I don't know. I just have so much nostalgia for Guild Wars 1. I would love for them to even just the name to have those classes. Maybe the Revenant could like summon spirits as a Ritualist.
That's what I want. I want my Ritualist back. Like I jumped into Guild Wars 1 with Corvus the other day, and I was like, all right, I'm making a brand new Ritualist. I'm gonna put spirits everywhere. I'm gonna annoy people. Yeah.
I did try to think though which one could turn into a dervish, and I couldn't think of one. I don't think Revenant is dervish. Okay.
No, but dervish were very, very OP though. Like transforming into the avatars of gods was a little bit too much. Although banana scythe, so you know. But if some kind of like transformation kind of casts could come through like that, that'd be kind of interesting. And I think what a lot of people were almost expecting was that before the Revenant bar was announced, that it wouldn't be like the pet system for your for your legends. It'd be along your skill bar. So if you had a specialization for a warrior that was something like that, where you say your specialization is dervish and your utility skills are transformed into these avatars of the particular gods, and that's like your dervish, because they changed the Ranger Elite Barrage into a normal skill. So there might be some kind of translation along those kind of lines as well.
Right. Well, we have the humans can already, by default, racial skill turn into the gods, the avatars of the gods, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's Avatar of Melandry, which is beyond useless, but you know, it's.
You can do it.
What?
You can do it. You can do it.
I think we are going to wrap up the show here. We have a couple minutes left for during the actual show for you guys to just tell me about any projects you guys are working on, pimp out your channels a little bit. You know, anybody got anything interesting?
All my projects are currently shrouded in mystery. In the sense that I can't tell anyone anything because I want to wait until it's kind of when it's ready, all this stuff. So yeah, everyone's obviously subscribed to me, so you can get no content for a little while. I have some music that's coming though, like typical Corvus style, you know, composing stuff. So that if you like that stuff, then go for it. But if you don't have to subscribe. I'll just hunt you down.
Inks, do you want to go next, mate?
Sure. So right now I'm doing an Ascended series. Trinkets, jewelry should be out probably tomorrow. and then weapons will wrap up either over the weekend or on Monday. Usual Guild Wars 2 hot news as we get it, and I think there's a big thing going on next week we can't quite talk about just yet, but some exciting stuff coming up within a week or so for Guild Wars 2 stuff.
Ooh, mysteries.
Ooh. Alex, anything exciting?
Pillars of Eternity, really. I'm trying to squeeze in Guild Wars content around doing the LP of Pillars of Eternity. So if you're a fan of the old kind of like Baldur's Gate and Fallout 2 games, it's well worth your time checking out. It's quite dark in places, which is really kind of weird. But yes, I'm about to start a legendary crafting guide, which I don't know if I don't know if I'm going to complete before Heart of Thorns comes out, just because I don't want to sink all that money into a precursor and then just go, hey, you've got them for free now. But when Heart of Thorns comes out, I'm going to try and record the entire thing for each of the precursors.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're also doing a live stream, Alex. You need to talk about that.
Oh God, yeah. This isn't for months yet. But last year, I got the idea in my head to do a charity live stream for 24 hours straight, which is nowhere near as fun as it sounds. I got to like 4 a.m. and I was like playing Assassin's Creed 4, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna stab the sea. And yeah, and we raised about £500 for a charity over here who I actually work for, called Macmillan Cancer Support, and we help thousands of people who are going through a cancer journey. And I'm going to do it again for 24 hours. And our man Corvus, which way do I have to point? That way or the other way?
You're good. You got it.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
He's to your right.
So yeah, Corvus has already donated because he's awesome.
Woo!
And you guys all gotta donate. There's a video on your channel, right, talking about it with a link.
There
to
is,
everything.
yeah. It's the featured channel video. So even if you haven't subscribed when you go onto the channel, it's the first video that you're going to see at the top. So yeah, and it's all going to be live on Twitch, and join in on Twitch chat whenever you like for a good cause.
Awesome. Woohoo! Alright guys, that is it for the actual show. If you're watching live on Twitch, then stay tuned for the after show. It's always a good time. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go ahead. There's annotations. You can click our names here on the screen to go to all of our channels, as well as there's all kinds of links down below. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys next Wednesday, same time, same place, to talk about hopefully something really exciting.
Hopefully.
Yay!
Hopefully.
Have a good day, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.